Welcome back to Magic Muggle, a Harry Potter after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, broadcasting from the highest tower in Hogwarts, your resident Ravenclaw. And today, we've got 2 chapters that quietly do a lot of heavy lifting. This isn't just plot. This is reputation, identity, pressure, and the moment the Triwizard Tournament starts getting, personal. We've got Hagrid at his lowest point, Rita Skeeter doing just what she does best, and Harry finally stepping into the second task. Let's get into it. So today we start with Chapter 24 of the Goblet of Fire, Rita Skeeter's Scoop. We open right after the Yule Ball. Everything feels just a little off, and Ron and Hermione they're not fighting, but they're not normal either. Hermione's back to herself. The holiday glow is gone. And Harry, he's feeling it. Because the second task is getting closer, and that golden egg still makes absolutely no sense. Harry's trying everything. Shaking it. Yelling at it. Throwing it. Nothing. Nothing comes through. And he could follow Cedric's hint, but he doesn't want to because of pride and because of Cho. Because it doesn't feel like a fair trade. I can relate to that feeling of pride, kind of getting the answer before you were able to act on it and try and figure it out on your own, wanting to be better than needing help with something very important. It's definitely relatable to a lot of people. I know probably many people, if not everyone's just been through something very similar. And Cedric was being genuine because he wanted to help Harry. However, Harry, he's very jealous of Cedric, and I think that makes a lot of sense from a story point. Cedric's technically done nothing wrong. It's even at one point Harry says to himself, he could have given him a better hint. Harry literally told him about the dragons, and Cedric just gave him a hint about going into the bathtub with the egg, which is so close to literally being the right answer. Harry's overthinking it. I know it's all over a crush and jealousy and something we've all been through. If not, you will probably go through. And then we hit Care of Magical Creatures, and Hagrid is gone, replaced, and immediately something feels wrong. Malfoy's smiling, and that's just all you need to know. Harry reads the Daily Prophet article, and this is where the chapter locks in. This isn't reporting. This is twisting truth, exaggerating danger, and weaponizing identity. Hagrid isn't just criticized, he's exposed as a half-giant. And suddenly, everything about him is framed as dangerous. They try to visit him, and he won't open the door. All week, he disappears. He's just not showing up to any of the classes. Substitute's still there. And this is important because it's not that Hagrid is physically hurt. He's emotionally shaken. He's ashamed. And to think about him getting turned down by the head of the other school, the giant woman who probably is also half giant but would never admit it, even though she probably is. Maybe she doesn't even know she's a half giant. I mean, if you're that big, you gotta start to wonder a little bit, the reason for it, though. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about her. At the Three Broomsticks, a little bit later, we get a small but important side thread. Ludo Bagman, acting nervous, talking to goblins, offering Harry help, which Harry does turn down. And, if you think about it, Harry's having a hard time accepting help from anyone, even Cedric. He did listen to Cedric's help, but he hasn't acted on it yet. And Ludo Bagman, Harry has enough pride to say no, even though everyone's kind of helping the other students. It seems like every other competitor in the Triwizard Tournament is getting help in one way or another from outside sources, which is not a very good lesson to teach. But I guess in a way, if one person's doing it, then everyone starts to do it, and then everyone becomes a cheater, which makes it not cheating. It just becomes part of the game, I guess. That's the logic I'm going to have going into this. But I think it's interesting how he does accept Cedric's help later and doesn't accept Ludo and doesn't approach him. I think it makes sense, though. He'd accept it from a fellow student / competitor, but not from somebody who clearly would just look bad if he got it from this guy. So, Rita's confrontation. Yes, we get a little Rita Skeeter because she is the one spinning all these stories, this book, and I gotta say she's a pretty great character written, but she is an annoying person. Harry sees Rita, and this is one of those moments where he goes no filter. He calls her out publicly, and she immediately tries to twist it into a story, even asking if Hagrid is like a father figure. Ooh, that is the game she plays, and honestly, she takes something real and she shapes it into something clickable. She's a clickbaiter. She's very good at it too, isn't she? They go back to Hagrid's cabin to give him another go, and Dumbledore is already there. That's important. He didn't wait, he showed up. It's a big deal that Dumbledore is there for Hagrid, and that honestly warms my heart. This whole scene, honestly, this is the soul of the chapter. Hagrid is broken down, ashamed of who he is, and Dumbledore steps in, not to defend him loudly, but to ground him. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Then Harry hits him with the Dursleys point, and it lands. Harry's not super proud of where he comes from, who his people are outside of Hogwarts, especially at this time, since his parents are gone. And yeah, I mean, I think that perspective does help Hagrid. He's not alone, especially for the people who matter most. They don't see him any different whatsoever. And then Hagrid shares his dad's words. Never be ashamed of who you are, because the people who hold it against you aren't worth your time. That is like something to write down and tattoo on your right arm if you're a really big fan of Hagrid. I wonder if anyone, just one person in the world, has that as a tattoo. It's very wise. I like it. It's one of my favorite quotes in the series so far, and we have a few favorite quotes. Never be ashamed of who you are, because the people who hold it against you aren't worth your time. I love it. This is one of those lines that just defines the series, if you think about it. This is Harry Potter at its core. Not magic, but identity. And through the lens of the Dursleys, the way they treat Harry, they want him to be ashamed who he is, because they don't like magic. And they do hold it against him. But we do learn that time and time again, Harry doesn't make them worth their time. Harry doesn't accept staying in a locked room. Harry doesn't accept living under the stairs. So by the time we reach the end of the chapter, Hagrid comes back. Not fully healed, but standing again. And Harry, now the egg feels heavier than ever, because someone believes in him. I relate to Harry so much in this sense where you do have people in your corner. You do have people who believe you. But Harry doesn't necessarily ever say this, but for me, it's almost like, these people care about me unconditionally, and that does matter. However, that also gives them the chance to make me feel better about who I am, despite what might even be true about me, because they won't let that be true to me, because they're trying to guard my feelings and preserve my feelings against something that may be the truth or may not be the truth. They don't want you hurt. You're good people. So I wonder if Harry's going through any of that. It's a little bit more complex of an angle. However, it's very hard, and self-depletion and self-criticism, it can get really bad. And it's good that this series kind of reflects on that in a certain way. It talks about how Hagrid is big and out of his comfort zone right now, and it faces the fact that sometimes people, they make up lies and they hurt, and you have to live and move on from them on your own, because nobody's going to do it for you in that sense. But to have Dumbledore, Harry, Ron, and Hermione by his side, I think Hagrid is a lucky guy. Let's move into chapter 25, The Egg and the Eye. So we have a night mission, all right? And this is what Harry's plan is. He decides enough. He's going to figure this out at night, using the invisibility cloak, the Marauder's map, and Cedric's hint. A lot of different era of Harry Potter being stealthy and working his way through the night at Hogwarts. He brings the whole Harry Potter survival pack. We're in full stealth mode now. So he gets to the prefix bathroom, and it's basically a luxury spa. Massive bath, colored bubbles, complete silence. For a second, it feels like a break. Honestly, I would love to be a part of something exclusive as like a bathroom with a free hot tub. I want to go in a hot tub right now. I haven't been in one in a while. You'd think that there'd be something more magical. I mean, but it's the bubbles and the atmosphere probably makes it a little bit more magical. But no matter what, wizards, muggles, we love hot tubs. And then, of course, Moaning Myrtle shows up uninvited, as always. But she actually helps. Put the egg underwater. Harry finally listens, and this time it makes sense. Voices, singing. About something being taken, about a time limit, about needing to retrieve it. And he pieces it together. It's underwater, it's the lake, it's the mer people. And then reality hits. It clicks. He has to go into the lake, deep, cold, and he can't breathe underwater. So therein lies another challenge within the challenge of being prepared to do this. What is he going to do? Hold his breath for, 10, maybe 15 full minutes? He doesn't know even exactly what's going to go down there. So this is just classic Harry Potter, to be honest. There's always another layer. Now, this is where things start to escalate when Harry leaves the prefect's bathroom. On the Marauders map, Harry sees someone who shouldn't be there. Barty Crouch. Inside Hogwarts at night in Snape's office. This is the moment where the story whispers something is wrong. This staircase scene, it's just slow, and it is honestly get your heart beating a little bit. Harry goes to investigate and then gets stuck. Same step Neville always trips on. Literally, he is stuck in the stairs. And then the egg falls and it opens and it starts screeching and it is so loud, and oh my goodness, it makes me cringe just thinking about how much danger that puts Harry in of getting caught. Filch hears it. He thinks it's Peeves, and Snape also shows up. Everything stacks. This is pure tension. No magic fight, no action, just being caught. Harry, if he got caught by Snape this time, there would be no justice. There would be nothing held back on Snape's end. It is honestly a dire situation. Then Moody arrives. And here's the key. He sees everything, even Harry, through the cloak. We learned this earlier. And instead of exposing him, he helps him, covers for him, takes the map, and then drops this. He doesn't trust people who got away, especially Death Eaters. Moody is starting to feel like the only adult who's actually paying attention. He's paying a lot of attention, especially to Harry. You can see what Harry's going through, and he's kind of on Harry's side for the most part. He helps Harry out here big time. Harry survives this moment, but now he's left with questions. Why is Crouch sneaking around? Why is Snape hiding? And who can he even really trust? And for the first time, the tournament doesn't feel like a game anymore. These chapters aren't loud. They aren't the most eventful or action-packed, if you'd want to say, but they do change everything. We get emotional stakes with Hagrid, real-world themes with Rita Skeeter, and the first real sense that something bigger is happening behind the scenes. And Harry, well, he's not just reacting anymore. He's starting to move forward. On the next episode, we have the second task, and we're heading straight into it with a big build-up. Things are only going to get deeper from here. Okay, I said that because of the water. If you're enjoying this journey on Magic Muggle, make sure to rate the show, give it 5 stars, leave a review. It goes the longest way, and it means the world to me. Join our public Discord server in the notes of this podcast. We are discussing things weekly. We're just getting started in there. So join us and join the fun. Don't be a stranger. You're completely welcome. It's been a pleasure talking about these chapters with you today. And until next week, where we finally get the second task, wands down, hearts full.